Twain is working through a first draft, if you will, of some of his criticisms of Southern culture in Life on the Mississippi. And Huck Finn, in many ways, is the second draft or final draft of it. For example, Twain is very struck by the gap between people's pretensions and the realities underlining them. And so he quotes from a prospectus for a Southern college that, with no modesty, pronounces that because the South is the highest civilization the world has ever known, we make sure that all of our teachers are Southerners. Well, that kind of pride, that kind of braggadocio, that kind of ridiculous pretension to moral superiority infuriated Twain. And so he follows this quote that I paraphrased from the college's prospectus with a footnote. But the footnote's about a page and a half long. And it documents incidents of barbaric violence that took place within a short distance from this school that's pronouncing Southern civilization the highest man has ever known. Twain felt that that kind of false pride and bragging was just preposterous and was hurting the South from moving forward and moving into the bustling 19th century. He also felt that the Louisiana state capitol was a total disaster because it was a kind of medieval castle, and he felt that the fact that they were restoring it was misguided, that they should dynamite it and put up a good 19th century building instead. He felt that this looking backward to a romantic medieval past, this trumpeting of the inherently superior virtues of Southern civilization were misplaced, were unfortunate, were not appropriate behavior, because there was a lot wrong with the South. There was a tremendous amount of violence. There was a tremendous amount of racism. There was a tremendous amount of bad faith in terms of how the South was dealing with the legacies of slavery and the Civil War. And he felt that these kinds of pretensions were obstacles to moving on and dealing with a progressive future. In Huck Finn, the kind of civilization that he talked about in Life on the Mississippi, when he talked about the House Beautiful, in which a whole series of what we would call kitsch objects decorate the sitting room. You had parrots, plaster parrots painted in gaudy colors, but the paint was chipped off and you could see the plaster underneath, or very dull and conventional books piled up perfectly exact on each corner of the table. By the time you get to Huck Finn and we're inside the Grangerford household, Twain manages to integrate his critique of the pretensions and hypocrisies of Southern culture with the point of view of Huck, this narrator, who thinks all this stuff is just great. And Huck's admiration for the kitsch interior in the Grangerford household, his admiration for the courtly manners of Colonel Grangerford, are a wonderful vehicle for the reader to really question them. Because, of course, what Twain does in the book is, rather than say these courtly manners are preposterous, or rather than have a footnote that shows you some violence that happens nearby, the same people who are engaging in these courtly manners kill each other in a brutal feud, a brutal, pointless feud within a matter of pages. And so the hypocrisy of the pretensions to high civilization versus the reality of stupid, pointless brutality is something that Twain makes integral to his novel, and it's much more effective.